Hello and welcome to everyone today. Well, I can say I'm honored. We have one of the most competitive fighters in the history of this sport, Tony Lopez, and the guy with one of the greatest nicknames, right? Go ahead, can you please say some few words about yourself and be ready to roll?
Well, I'm Tony Lopez, Kryptonite. I fight all over the world. I fight just about any kind of sport there is, from boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, bare knuckle boxing, you name it, I'm in it. So I'm well-rounded, and I love the sports of combat.
Yeah, amazing. So it's almost impossible to say what's your fundamental martial art. Do you have it anyway?
Yeah, well, I mean, my basis is all karate based. That's where I started really religiously getting into it. From when I started my karate, I was karate and learning how to kick, self defense, and then from there, in my karate class before MMA started, my instructor Chuck Beach also taught us, jujitsu. He taught us boxing. He taught us kickboxing. He mixed everything in there already, and I mean it was great because when I was done with my karate training and got my black belt, all that, I was well-rounded in all martial arts already, just through that training I got with him. So it was great. MMA started up, and I was ready for it.
Outstanding. When did you start training? I mean, first martial art. When did you face your first martial art? Was it at the age of 10, 15?
Now, my first one was at the age of 12. It was Kung Fu Sansu. And I did that for about a year and a half. And then after that, just did all the sports in school, from wrestling, cross country, swimming, a little bit of football, and that was it. After high school is when about 21 is when I got into the karate. Full time, 5 days a week, boom, a couple of hours, about 4 or 5 hours a day for about 2 years straight, just non-stop, just learning everything I could.
Awesome. To be honest, your moniker kind of reminds me of Superman. Kryptonite, that's the first time that relates to Superman. To me, at least. In my state, when we hear Kryptonite, it means Superman. How is it in your state anyway, with your nickname? How did you get it?
Well, it's actually just what you said, Everybody that fights, everybody that does anything, the only way everybody can relate is, hey, I'm as strong as Superman. I can't be defeated, So and some people even get the tattoo of Superman on them, kind of stuff. So my wife, back when I was with Colin Oyama, he got all the fighters in a meeting and he said, hey guys, you guys need to come up with a nickname, because besides your own fight name, the nickname is what people are going to remember, who you are, and it reflects you. So, thinking about it and stuff like that, I came up with a great one. But my wife said no one would understand. My nickname I wanted to give myself was the Wuss Maker. And I said, hey man, it's perfect. I love it. It says what it is, And but my wife said no one will understand it. That's a thing from your time, my time, a long time ago. And she said, you know what? Everybody out there thinks they're Superman. Why don't you be their kryptonite? And I said, you know what? I like that. I thought it could be everybody's kryptonite. So, and that's how I got it. My wife just, thinking about how everybody thinks of themselves, said, you be the kryptonite of everybody. And that's how kryptonite came to be.
Outstanding. Very great story. Do you have favorite submission and favorite strike?
Well, submission, I don't have a favorite. I mean, I like all of them. The one I do like a lot, I prefer over all of them, is the Kimura. I was able to beautifully execute it on Joey Beltran the first time we fought. A standing Kimura, and I dislocated his shoulder, his elbow, everything, just shredded it. So it made me feel really good. But the only problem with that is after I did that move, every time I grabbed anybody's hand in a fight, right away, boom, they tuck it in, they protect it, because they're like, hey, he's not going to happen. That's not going to happen to me. So it kind of dwindled away. But I like the Kimura. It's really effective. It's really easy to get, and when you get it, I mean, it's a done deal. And my strike, my favorite strike is a head kick. You know, because when you land that kick, I mean, there's nothing you can do to protect yourself. It lands and you're out. It's night time.
Can we discuss your first professional fight? How did you feel? I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but that's something that fighter never forgets.
Yeah, no, you know what? My first fight, I will never forget, because the build-up to that fight was, you know, it was unexpected. I was at a gym training, and the gym, back in the day, it doesn't exist no more, but it was Executive Fitness. And they're the ones who got me to my first fight in King of the Cage. And so we're there, I'm training and stuff, and we butted heads because they didn't like my wife coming to watch me train. And my wife, she now, I mean, since day one, she's always been me when I go train. When I used to do martial arts, she'd go watch me do my martial arts. So she knows everything about me. So me starting, you know, MMA, she was going to be there and make sure everything's going the right way, do the things I have to do, and everything works my way. So they didn't like that she was there because she's a woman in a man's sport. Like, what is she doing here? So they, you know, they told me either she'd have to go or I'd have to go. And when I told them, you know what, well, if she goes, I go. And that was it. They kicked me out of the gym, I believe, before my fight. So there, I'm like, man, what am I going to do? From there, you know, I had, back in the day, Colin Oyama, what called smokers at his gym. So we went to the gym over there, and we do smokers like that. So then I said, hey, well, I said, let's get you over there. You know, they got a full gym. They got fighters, all that stuff. So we went over there, talked to him. He took me in, and my first fight, you know, was in 2005, March 2005, against Tony Galindo. And Galindo, I believe he was 4-2, and you know, I was, you know, fresh, no fights, no nothing. My first fight, and he was like, for King of the Cage, he was a big ticket seller. So I mean, he sold, I think they said something like 400 tickets. So I mean, the promoter was happy, like, yeah, there's my man right here, you know. So when I went to fight him, I was supposed to be a fish for him, you know, to beat me, and then his fan base blow up a little more, and he sells more tickets and makes promoter money, makes himself money, all that stuff. Well, I end up, like I said, when I started fighting, I was nervous. I missed the first call. They told me to come out and fight. I didn't even have my hands wrapped. I wasn't ready. And I was like, man, this ain't right. And my coach was like, don't worry about it. You know, we'll get you on the next. Don't worry. You're still going to fight. So 2 fights later, coach goes down and tells him, hey, he's ready. Okay, come here. And, you know, of course, the promoter tells me, you do that again, you're never going to fight again, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay. And they put me in there. Well, when I'm in there, you know, like I said, I have all this experience, you know, from the time I trained to the first time I set foot in a cage, it was 11 years. So 11 years of, you know, training and, you know, my martial arts background, everything built up for this. I was like, hey, man, I'm more than ready. But when I got in there, saw the people in the crowd, the guy in front of me, the ref, it was like deer in headlights. I was just like, oh, my God, what am I doing here? I forgot how to do everything. I didn't know how to punch. I didn't know how to kick. I mean, nothing. So I'm standing there. I'm just standing there like this, waiting. They say fight. I'm standing there, and when he moves, I move. Okay, he moves. Okay, I'm going to move. I'm going to follow him. I'm going to do this. And then finally, my coach in the corner is all, punch him. I throw a punch. Kick him. I throw a kick. And so everything they told me to do, that's all I would do. You know, if they say throw 1 punch, I throw 1 punch. If they say throw 2 punches, I throw 2 punches. And that was it. I stop, and I look at them like, what's next? And then I look back, and, you know, so they were, the whole time, I mean, it was, if someone watched it, be like, man, this guy doesn't know anything, you know? And I was stage fright hit me hard, and I didn't know what I was doing. So they're calling every shot. And, you know, I'm throwing in. The difference, too, is Tony Galindo was about 5'8". I'm 6'5". Almost a foot of difference in height. So he was really short. I mean, he was probably like this tall to me. So he was little, but he was really stocky. And so we're going, and finally he did one thing where he tried to psych me out. So he lunged at me, like to get me to move. Well, I was so nervous and scared that I didn't move at all. I just stood there and looked at him. And I think it got in his head like, oh my God, I didn't even scare this guy. And then from there, the coach, same thing. You know, he's telling me, throw some knees, clinch them. And so I clinched him. I started throwing my knees. And then I knocked him out. I hit him like 2 times in the head, and boom, he went down. And that was it. It was over. It was all, and that was all the first round. Okay, it was like 3 minutes and 35 seconds. But it was the longest time of my life because, I mean, it was like, man, oh my God, all this stuff. He got knocked out, and man, it felt great to come out with the win. Being after everything that was going on in my head, that I just like, you have to tell me what to do, or I ain't gonna do nothing. You know, so two things I look at it as, I got lucky with that knockout, but it was just, I mean, like I said, it was all my training that I did that I was able to do that because I, you know, the technique, everything was there. But if he, like I said, my coach, like I said, he saw what was going on with me, so he had to be feeding me everything. Hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. After that, like I said, it knocked him out. I was surprised. Everybody was surprised. So it was great, though. It was a great feeling.
Outstanding. Do you have a secret to your world-class competitivity, longevity, and you know, you fight for a very, very long period of time, and you fight very, very often. I mean, you have more than 100 fights, I think, right?
Yeah, close to that. I think it's a little over 100.
Yeah. So what's the secret?
Well, I know it's not. I mean, it's not a secret. It's just it's a different way of training. And the thing is that I don't train at a gym per se, where there's all these guys there and we all train with each other and stuff like that. Because if you ever look at people who fight, where do they get hurt? They get hurt at the gym. What are they doing? They're training. You know, they're sparring. They're rolling. Somehow they get hurt. So I don't train every day at a gym. I train in my house. I have my own home gym. I have all my equipment, everything I need here. So I get myself ready, everything like that. And when I need to get some sparring in or some rolling, I'll go to a gym. You know, I'll call them up, see if I can cross train. And I'll go over there and cross train. And, you know, like I said, when I go cross train, I know the guys, I know everybody, but at the same time, I tell them, hey, we're just here to learn. You know, I'm not here to try to knock your head off. You know, I make sure I make it clear. Don't hit me hard, because I'm not going to hit you hard. If we grapple, if you get a submission, I'm going to tap. I'm not going to wait, you know, and fight it till I can't have it no more and then just get hurt. That's how I avoid injuries. I don't go 100% when I go train. You know, when I go cross train and spar and all that stuff, I'm doing maybe 75 to 85%. And that's, you know, everything is, I'm quick, I try to be quick, everything like that. Just when I deliver the shot, whether it's a punch, a kick, or a submission, I don't go 100% on it because I'm not trying to hurt my sparring partner or my grappling partner so we can keep going. Because the minute they get hurt, man, now I got to get someone else, and if there's no one else, I have no one to keep train on. So, I mean, I think that's the secret for me, which is, like I said, I don't go 100% on nobody. It's always nice and easy. Take it, you know, my time, and if they hit me, I don't get mad like, oh, you hit me, I gotta hit you back. Now, if they hit me hard, I'm gonna hit them hard back once and tell them, hey, don't hit me that hard, I'm gonna hit you harder. And usually, when that does happen, they stop because they can't keep up with me. And I start hitting harder, and they're like, oh man, you're doing too much. I'm like, well, hey, that's what you wanted. Well, I take it easy. I don't like hitting nobody hard, so I mean that's basically it. Take it easy when I'm training, when I'm sparring, so to say. Not take it easy as in don't do it and whatnot. I mean, I go 100%, but when I hit or when I'm grappling, I don't do 100% on any submission or any strikes. So that way, you know, like I said, I can keep going.
It's great strategy. Actually, it's a very, very wise strategy. The same strategy that many guys from my club use. Very, very wise. So, you fought at boxing, kickboxing, BKFC, MMA. There are many differences in rules. How do you adjust so quickly to rule change? I mean, it's very hard for every martial artist.
Well, I think it has to do with my karate background and the way I learned there. Because there, it was, like I said, it had every kind of style and everything. When we sparred, it was the same thing. Hey, look, today we're doing full contact karate. The next day, hey, today we're doing ground. Just ground. Okay, today we're just doing hands. Today we're just doing feet. So I learned to just, hey, When they say this is what the rules are, this is what you're doing, that's all I do. So going from MMA to boxing, it was like, okay, you know what? I just started to use my hands. Okay, that's all I use. If we go to kickboxing, I'm okay. Hey, I can do my feet, my hands, but I can't go to the ground. So I mean, it's just the way I trained in my youth that got me prepared for all of this that I do now. That where I can say, okay, this. And then when I get like, if I get dazed, I don't just react like, oh, I'm fighting, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's like I already know, hey, I'm doing boxing. I can't grab him, I can't take him down. I'm like, okay, you know what? Take a knee, get my 10 count, recover, get back up. So, I mean, it's just it's my training that I did when I was young. It was all based for fighting any kind of style.
Who is the most difficult MMA foe you have ever met?
You know what? It might sound funny, but it's myself. Because for me, it's a fight every time I'm in that cage with myself to make sure my mind is right, my physical is right, my health, everything is good for me to fight. Because when I'm in there, I'm having a good time, but at the same time, if I start doubting something in my head or start second guessing, it just messes me up. My kicks, my punches, my ground, nothing is right once I start messing myself up, not believing in myself. So I think it's just myself is the toughest person I've had to fight with in the cage, because when I'm on point, everything's great. When there's a little doubt or something, if I didn't run every day that I was supposed to run, when I'm in there, I'm like, hey, am I going to have the cardio to do this? Or am I going to get tired? And when I start thinking like that, that's when everything messes up, because I'm not punching the same, because I'm trying to, oh, maybe I got to conserve my energy. I can't take him down that quick because I got to wait a little bit. I got to make sure he's tired. So that's all. It's just myself. Everybody else is, you know, like I said, everybody's tough out there, but it's if you can get past your own thoughts in your head, I mean, it's easy. You know, a fight to me is always easy when my head's clear.
Yeah, I get it. So can you pinpoint maybe to your greatest MMA win? Maybe can you pinpoint to 1, 2, 3? What do you think?
Well, I mean, the first, I mean, it's always going to be my first title fight I had with in King of the Cage against Wes Combs, former UFC fighter. You know, it was a big fight. The guy can knock people out. So I mean, he knocked me out during the fight. Well, the difference was that my training kept me going. So, and plus my wife, who also, you know, she works my corner. She noticed what happened with me getting knocked out. I noticed how I was reacting to what he was doing, but at an unconscious level. So she started saying everything I did. So if I was on the ground with my face down, and he's on top of just dropping bombs. And then all of a sudden I get up on my knees and I put my hand up, and I put my hand down. So she started just saying, because the ref was about to jump in and stop the fight. And so my wife just started saying what I was doing. So if I put my hand up, yeah, cover your face, cover your face. It started confusing the ref. Like, wait, is he awake? Is he listening to what the corner's saying, or what's going on? So then it gave me time to recover, wake back up, and then get back into the fight. You know, ended up going into the second round, and then I submitted him in the second round, and I got the victory. But honestly, I was knocked out the first round, probably the first 45 seconds of the round. I mean, I think it was the second punch he threw. It was an overhand right, and just caught me right on the chin. Boom, knocked me out. So, but I said I was able to recover. I had a great corner. You know, and I had great people in my corner, my wife, and then Brian Baker. And like I said, they noticed what was going on and worked with me and made that fight continue. So I was able to win. And I said that's a great, for me, it's a great fight because I came back and I won, and I won a championship belt out of it.
Outstanding. Well, this question might be, but it's not personal. I mean, it just, did your wife maybe sometimes tell you how she feels while she watches your fights? You know, it's pretty much difficult to watch fights. I mean, for me, for example, my dad was always saying, oh, no, I'm not gonna watch your fights, there's no way I'm gonna do it. So everybody in my state were like, no, we don't. Only one friend was okay with that. So how does your wife feel when she watches your fights?
My wife, she she is vicious. She don't get like, oh my God, he got hit. Oh, this, I can't watch it for now. Her, she knows what I can do. She knows what I'm capable of doing. Like I said, she was with me way before I started MMA, like back when I was in karate. So she knew how I moved, everything about me. She knew how gifted I was. So coming into MMA, to her, is more of in between rounds. If I'm not doing something I'm supposed to, she yells at me like, "What are you doing? You know, get your head out of your ass and start fighting. Okay, you're better than this guy. You know more than this guy. You know, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that," and just yelling at me over the stuff that I'm not doing. You know, if I win a fight and I look sloppy or like I don't look good when I'm fighting, she'll yell at me. So you might have won the fight, but you look like crap. You know, I'm embarrassed to say you're my husband. You know, I don't even walk next to me. Walk over there. You know, that's what she tells me, stuff like that. So I mean, it's great having her there because there's the truth. It's always the truth with her. You know, it's never like, oh yeah, you know, you won, you look good, that's great, keep doing what you're doing. No, it's like, you win. If I look good, she'll tell me, you look good, that's a good job, that's how you're supposed to fight. If I win and I look bad, she lets me know. If I lose, oh, it's even worse. You know, she's just like, what the hell did you lose? How did you lose to him? You know, what was going on in your head? It's like, he didn't do nothing to you. You know, he wasn't even hitting you hard, he wasn't doing nothing, you just quit on yourself. So I mean, she's a great coach, a great person to have in my corner. I mean, because like she tells me exactly how it is every time, win or lose. So.
So yeah, it's good. It's actually good, you know. Very, very good. I mean, she is realistic, and that's very, very good. So, what do you think of your fight against Rafael Davis at Bellator?
You know what? That fight, it was, to me, it was a good fight from my point of view. I hated the decision because he got the decision. You know, when I got the call for that fight, it was, I think, a week out. My coach called me and said, hey, you want to fight next weekend? I'm like, yeah. What weight? He said 205. I said, okay. And I weighed 225, so I had, I think, 4 days to lose 25 pounds. And just before that, I think 2 weeks before that or so, I had lost 30 pounds for another fight at 205. So, you know, and when I lost the weight, it was just quick. You know, just from 3 days, I just running, sweating out. So this fight with Rafael Davis was the same thing. My body still hadn't recovered from the last time I lost the weight like that. So I went out there when I was in Florida. When I fought there, I put the sweatsuit on, went for a run, and made weight, but I didn't realize that my legs were shot. I had no legs left from all the running I did. It just, my legs were jello. So during the fight, he just kept taking me down, So all I could do was fight from the bottom. I knocked him out from the bottom with some elbows, but then when I hit him again, I woke him up. And I got mad at myself. I was like, man, you were knocked out, but I kept hitting him, so I woke him up. And he ended, like I said, we went to the decision. He ended up winning the fight. I walked out looking just like this. He walked out with 2 big old black eyes from all the punishment I gave him from the ground. I was on my back the whole time. You know, so, I mean, it was a great feeling, because then after the fight, Bajorn, who was a promoter at the time and owner, ran backstage and was like, hey, I heard you took this fight on short notice. You lost, like, you know, so much weight. I mean, I'd love to have you fight for us again. And I was like, well, hey, man, just let me know. I'll be here. You know, I'll never say no. And so that's how that first event went. The only bad thing was the guy who was the matchmaker, I can't remember his name right now. At the time, he didn't like me because Rafael Davis was his favorite fighter at light heavyweight. And so then he just shelved me, and he wouldn't use me and stuff like that. So, you know, kind of sucked on that part. But the fight, I mean, I love the fight because to me, I won from the ground, being on my back the whole time. Even though he got the decision, I came out looking like this, and he came out looking like he got his ass whooped. So it was good for me.
Awesome. You fight legends like Trevor Prangley and Alexei Oleinik. So what do you think of these two fighters? Alexei is still ranked UFC fighter while Trevor Prangley is the first, I believe, African fighter who scored a win in the UFC. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the first guy from South Africa to score a win in the UFC.
I think you're right on that part. You know, and well, Trevor Prangley, I mean, he's a good guy. You know, in our fights, I fought him twice.
Yes.
The first time, you know, it was for my title in King of the Cage light heavyweight. It was, I think, the third round, fourth round, and I was about to just finish him, but I threw a knee. I tried to miss him. I grazed him just outside the head right here, just grazed him. I backed up like I was like, God damn! I got mad at myself. He saw that and he took that as like, oh, he hit me in the head, all this stuff, and he got the win because he won the first, you know, 2-3 rounds, and so they just went to the scorecards because they called it an illegal knee. You know, I didn't hit him, but it looked like I did, and so he got the win. So we got a rematch. And the time of the rematch, same thing. I came in great shape. I was ready for this fight, everything. And but I didn't feel like fighting that day. And during the fight, when we were fighting, I was thinking other stuff in my head. I wasn't even in the fight that day. You know, I was like, nah, 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 nah. And he got me in an arm bar, and I sat there and looked at him, looked at myself, looked at my arm. I mean, he had it good, but it wasn't submitting me. And then I was just like I said, I was talking to myself, and I tapped myself out. You know. Just in talking, I said, oh, you know what? What would happen if I tapped? And I tapped, and I said, oh, shit, I tapped. And the ref broke up, so that was that. You know, to me, I should have won both those fights, but one I was in the head, the other one I just made a mistake. But like I said, he's a great guy. And then, excuse me, the other guy, what was that? Yeah, Olanik? Yeah, he funny thing with him, you say I fight all the time. Well, yeah, I fought. I think it was a week before the fight I had with him, and that fight, I got my face bashed in. You know, I fought Rick, what's his name, Nick Rosborough, and same thing. I was fighting for King of Cage heavyweight championship. And the first 3 rounds, all he did was use my face as a catcher's mitt, you know, and he just pounded away. I was bleeding, losing a lot of blood. Ref wanted to stop the fight. I said, no, keep it going. The wife said she was going to throw in the towel if I didn't change up what I was doing. So instead of staying in vain, I took him to the ground. He won the first 3. I won the last 2. He won the fight. So then from there, I had called Kolanowski, his promoter, his manager said, hey man, I can't make the fight. And he's like, why? So I told him I got suspended. And he's like, what's suspended? I was like, well, I can't fight. He's like, well, we don't have that over here. You can come fight over here. I said, fine, I'll go fight. And well, when I went to the fight over there, you know, I had cuts and stuff like that, lacerations. And put up a good fight, 3 rounds. But one thing was, when I go fight overseas, a lot of times I go by myself, and I don't have a corner. So that day, I asked his manager, you know, hey, is there someone here who can corner me? He said, hey, I can corner you. I said, great. All you got to do is tell me when there's a minute left in each round. He said, okay. So we're fighting, and in the last round, he gets me in a triangle choke. And I was like, oh man, it was pretty tight. And I was like, man, I can fight this, but how much time's left? Well, his manager, since he was in my corner and he was watching the fight, he was all excited and just watching the fight, like, oh, he's going to win, you know, he does that. And he didn't tell me how much time was left. And I was thinking that, man, there's got to be at least 3-4 minutes left. You know, it's been, you know, I don't know how much time's left. And it ended up being like a minute and a half left when I tapped. And that was it. I told the manager, well, why did you tell me how much time was left? And he's like, man, I got into the fight. I forgot that I was cornering you and stuff. But no, he's a tough guy. I like a lot of the stuff I see him doing in the UFC. You know, that Ezekiel choke was one of my favorites that I've seen him do on there. I mean, it was great and stuff. So, I mean, he's a tough guy. I mean, he keeps polishing up his stand up, his ground the way he is. I mean, he can go far.
Yeah, I think so, the same, you know. Alexei Olenik is the master of is a kill choke, and especially against Viktor Pesta when he did it off the bottom. I believe you watched that fight. You know, when he did it, when Viktor Pesta was in the mount and Alexei did it off the bottom. When I was watching that fight, I was like watching, and at 1 second I did this. I didn't look at the. I was like, all right, Pesta is gonna finish him. The next moment I watched Pesta submits. I was like, what?
No one knew what happened. Everybody was like, why is he tapping? What's going on? What happened? I didn't see it. But yeah, that was a good choke right there, the way he did that.
Yeah, absolutely. When I interviewed Olenik, he just mentioned that the angle is important, so he knows that for sure. What do you think of Jared Cannonier, you know, about his toughness? Because people are saying that he is a very, very tough opponent. What do you say? You fought him.
You know what? I don't know. Cannonier, I fought him, I think in 2014. And he's a great guy. But when he fought me, he played the tag game where he'd hit and run. You know, so he never stood toe to toe with me. He never wanted to engage. And I tried to take him to the ground. He didn't want to have nothing to do with the ground and stuff like that. So, I mean, he played a smart game to win the fight. And, you know, pissed me off because when I have to chase somebody, a lot of times when I chase them, my hands ain't, I'm not protecting myself. I'm not moving my head. I'm just chasing them, trying to catch them. And so, you know, I leave myself all open. He was able to capitalize and just tag me. So, I mean, you know, for me, I didn't see the tough side in him. I just saw the strategy, you know, that him and his coach set up to win. So I couldn't say anything about him being tough. I mean, he looks tough when I see him fight now, opposed to when, you know, he fought me. But I would have wished, I would have hoped some of that he would have showed me some of that when we fought.
You read me?
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Did I cut out?
No, it snapped for a second, but I hear you. It snapped for a second. Alright, I actually thought the greatest win of your career was the one over Team Hague, when you knocked him out via head kick and punches. I thought that was the greatest win of your career. I watched that fight, and to be honest, I've never seen someone smashing Team Hague like this.
Well, you know what? It was great. And I mean, when I fought Tim Hague, same thing. You know, I fight a lot of great fighters. You know, because if they're on their way to the top, or they've been at the top and they're coming back trying to work their way back up, you know, I'm lucky enough to be the one they go against. And when I fought Tim Hague, same thing. Everybody told me, hey, you know, he's a strong hitter. I seen he knocked his previous opponent out in like 6 seconds. The first shot he threw, he knocked him out. And I was like, okay, this should be fun. That's how I look at fights. You know, it's gonna be fun. We got in there. The first round, you know, he got on top of me. He was grounding, pounding. And I was like, man, I just moving. And then after the first round, I said, you know what? I got to finish him. You know, he gets on top of me because he's way heavier than me. He always weighs by about 20, 30 pounds. I was like, he's going to keep me on the bottom. You know, I can't get him off. So I saw my opening. Yeah, you know, I threw a head kick, dazed him, and then jumped in with some punches and finished him. But same thing. I mean, he's a great fighter, and it was a fun and it was an exciting fight. You know, everybody in the crowd was into that fight. You know, he put on a show, I put on a show, and it was great.
Yeah, it was an awesome fight. Really awesome stoppage and very great. What can you say about your fight with Shannon Rich?
You know what, that fight was, I mean, the fight itself, to me, was good. You know, we went in there, he didn't hold back. You know, 'cause I see some of his previous fights when I see what he does, and I'm like, man, if he just came a lot more aggressive, he'd do a lot more better. And that's what he did with me. You know, he actually fought me the way I would have wanted Cannonier to fight me. You know, he came at me, he swung, he kicked 100%. You know, I'd heard the arrow whistling as he went by my face. I could hear the noise. So I was like, oh, he's putting his power behind his punches, his kicks, everything. So I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. So, you know, the fight itself, like I said, was great. for me, the problem with that fight was everything before the fight. That promotion, Combate America, messed us all up. Me and Shannon, we've been fighting for a long time. We've been around. We're known. Well, they put us as a fill-in fight. So we never knew. We were supposed to fight, I think, 4th or something like that. And then, no, you're going to fight 7th now. Then, or you're going to fight, 10th. And we ended up fighting at the last fight. I think it was 2 in the morning. There was nobody left there. The crowd was all gone. Only the employees that were working the cage crew, the camera guys. That's all that was left. So, and then there was, I think, 2 or 3 times Shannon Rich came to me and said, "Hey, I'm going home. I don't know why I'm sitting here waiting for this fight. Because I mean, they told us how many times we were gonna fight, and we warm up. And then no, you're not gonna fight yet." So for him, it was like, and for me too, because I was like, man, this really sucks. I don't know when I'm gonna fight. I hate getting ready and cooling down. Getting ready, cooling off, and stuff. So the fight itself was great, but all the stuff that happened before the fight was all messed up for me and Shannon. Because like I said, he came to me and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm about to say let's go home because I don't want to fight." And I was feeling the same way too already, because I was like, man, we've been here 8 hours. And we still haven't fought. I mean, this is ridiculous. And I mean, everybody that fought on that card, they were all beginners. I mean, they had maybe 2 fights, 3 fights, and that's it the most. And me and Shannon, both of us together, had over 100 fights. So it was left a bad taste in my mouth. But I did like the fight. It was fun.
Yeah, it's very, very tough when you don't fight on time. I know that feeling. Very, very bad feeling. What do you think of Satoshi Ishii as a fighter?
You know what? I like him as a fighter. I actually, before I fought him, I was fortunate enough to train with him here in California. And like I said, he's strong. He's strong. That's one thing he is. He's very strong. And he's good on the ground. He's got his technique down. When he wants to do what he wants to do, he does it. I mean, when I fought him, he got me in a choke with his legs, a scissor choke, and I knew it was coming. And I was trying to fight it, but then I slipped, and that's how you catch somebody. I slipped. He sank in his legs, and when he put his legs in, I panicked. And then from there, I was like, oh, I was just waiting to get choked. I wasn't fighting the choke or nothing. I was just sitting like, oh, how long can I last? How long can I last? And finally, right before I was about to pass out, I tapped. But I mean, I like his style. Like I said, he's got a lot. He's very strong for his stature. Everything about him, he's built like a tank. So I mean, I like him. I've seen him fight because I know what to expect from him. So it's exciting for me to watch him fight.
You fought another UFC name. It's ESP Look. So what do you think on him?
You know what? That fight. Oh man, he's a great kid. And the fight, I was having a great time in that fight. I mean, he was pounding the hell out of me, punching me and stuff like that, hitting me, kicking me, knees. He was throwing everything at me. And I don't know why, but I was just, like I said, I guess I was enjoying getting hit a lot because I was there just blocking and getting hit and stuff like that. And toward the end of our fight, he caught me with the elbow and cut me open. And I was like, he cut me open. I'm like, oh man. And I looked at him and I smiled and I said, do it again. And then I think he got worried right there. And that's when he kept hitting me, and then he got me in a head and arm and threw me to the ground. And when he threw me to the ground, he lifted my head up and put all his weight on my chest and, cut the air off so I couldn't breathe. And now then I had a tap because I was suffocating. But like I said, he's got good technique and good move. He just, to me, he just needs a little more experience because I mean, he's only, when I fought him, he only had 7 fights, and I could see the lack of experience in his fighting. But like I said, he same thing. He's got good strength. He's got good technique. I mean, he can go far in MMA. It's just like I said, the experience. The more fights he does, the more fights he gets, the better he's going to get. I mean, I said it's funny because I asked him after the fight. I said, hey, would you fight me again? You know, because I just I don't know what I was thinking of the fight, blah blah blah. This stuff, and he said, nah, I don't ever want to fight you again. The one fight was enough for me. And to me, that was a compliment because a lot of fighters, they win, I'll fight you, I'll beat you up, whatever, I don't care. Or if they lose, hey, you want to fight again? No, man, I learned my lesson. But for a fighter to tell me that they don't want to fight me again, because he said something like, I don't want to fight you again, you're not human. So I was like, hey, that's what Kryptonite's all about. So, I mean, it was great, it was a compliment. I said, he won, he did everything he had to do. And to me, at the end, I got complimented by him not wanting to rematch me or fight me again.
What is the most challenging promotion, MMA promotion, you've ever fought after Bellator?
You know what? I mean, there's quite a few of them because no matter what, when I fight, wherever I fight, they try and find someone of equal or better standings than me, and that's where like Tim Hague comes in. What is it? Munson. Excuse me. All these big names. If they can get them in to fight me, hey, that's what makes sure the promotion's good. And like I said, there's not been a promotion where I fight. I mean, there's been a few, but I mean the bigger promotions where I fight, that they bring top dogs, people that have been in the UFC, people that have been in Bellator, people that have been in K1, they've been somewhere, and they're like, hey, bring this guy, that's the name, let's use them, because you got Tony, you got so-and-so from here, man, it'd be a good fight. So I mean, I can't really say one promotion because all the promotions where I fight, they bring in top fighters just because they have me, and they're like, hey, we can get this guy. Boom, there's our fight right there. And the rest of the cards are usually amateurs or lower paid people, so fighters, so that way they can afford me and the person I'm my opponent.
Yeah, I agree. What is the most difficult kickboxing match you've ever participated?
You know what? I'm happy because I didn't get a chance to look up his name. But it was in I found Colorado here in the United States, and this guy was a former K1 185 kickboxer, and we were fighting at heavyweight, and since he was, I think he weighed 212, 13 pounds, so he was still light for a heavyweight, but he was quick, and he just mauled me. I mean, he hit me, dazed me, and that's where for me in MMA, no matter what I get dazed, I come forward, I'll grab you, I'll do something. So in kickboxing, when he dazed me, I was like, hey, I gotta come forward, and I gotta go toward him so he throws him off, think I'm okay. But when I came forward, he caught me with the uppercut, then he caught me with the knee, and knocked me out. I just fell on my face. And I fell on my face, but I was on my knees, so my butt was up in the air, and then I slid down flat. And I was like, boop, and that was it, But I wish I could remember his name. I can't even think of the promotion. I say that's how bad he knocked me out. But that was maybe two years ago or something like that. But it was. Like I said, I wish I could remember his name, but that was. I didn't like that. I want to fight him again, but I'm still, right now, I'm not even fast enough to keep up with his speed. Power, I got the power for it. I got the technique, all that, but his speed just blew me away. So.
Yeah. Why did you accept to fight Bare Knuckle? I mean, it was a new sport back then, they needed fighters and so on. So what led to the decision of switching sport again?
Well, believe it or not, they hit me up and I turned them down. Because at the time, I had got a manager and, because usually I manage myself. And I got a manager and I said, well, this will be my last push to try and get to the UFC. I got a manager that's well known in the UFC. He has a lot of clients in the UFC and Bellator, top organizations. So I said, if he can't get me in, then the UFC ain't never going to happen for me. So, his name's Jason House. I got Jason House. Yeah, and so he pitched me, tried to get me in there, and it just didn't happen. So from there, I was like, well, if that didn't happen, you know what? I'm gonna call Bare Knuckle back up. So I hit him up and hey, if you still need me, I'd love to come fight. And with luck, I was able to get in there and put on a great fight against Joey Beltran.
What do you think of your two fights against Joey Beltran? I watched both of them, and to be honest, I had no idea in first and second who won. I really had no idea when it ended. I was like, these guys are trading shot for shot, so if I was the referee, it would have been the toughest match I'd ever refed.
Yeah, well, the first fight, I didn't get started till I think halfway through the third round, because the rounds are 2 minutes. Those are fast rounds. And to me, usually when I fight MMA, the first round I warm up. That's 5 minutes to warm up. So in Bare Knuckle, by the third round, I said halfway through the third round, I was warmed up, and that's when I started turning it up and trying to come alive. But it was, like I said, it was a great fight. I loved it. I thought I won at the end of the fight, but I said judges saw something else. They scored it different. It's boxing. So I don't know how they scored. Boxing is different from MMA, it's different from kickboxing. Everything's scored different from every kind of thing. And this is a new sport too. Bare Knuckle here in the States, so it's people just don't know how to judge, everything right. The second time we fought, it was a little more. It wasn't as bloody. It was more strategic from my part. But so like I said, I wanted to win. So I was trying to tag him. I didn't want to get involved in those exchanges because him being shorter, he was quicker at throwing the punches and connecting a lot quicker than me. So I was like, no, let me just use my distance. And I said the same thing. Second fight, I thought this time for sure I won. We got a draw, which I was upset, but I'm glad I didn't get a loss on that one. But it was, like I said, Beltran is a tough fighter. He's our current champ right now. Well deserved. He did his thing. He worked his way up. I hope I get the opportunity to, work my way up to fight him again if he's still the champ or whoever the champ is.
What do you think of your fight against, now correct me if the pronunciation is not good, Jimmy Janet, BKFC2?
No, that's perfect. That's his name, Jimmy Janet. That fight, it was a good fight too. To me, that fight also, the first time I fought Beltran, got fight of the night. This fight against Jimmy Janet got fight of the night also, because it was a good fight. We both were trading, going back and forth, and same thing. I have the worst luck with judges. If I let the fight go to the decision, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to win. The only way I win is if I knock you out, or submit you. Now I know I won for sure. But this fight, same thing. We went in there, we banged back and forth, and I started turning it around in the third, fourth, and fifth. I thought I beat him good enough to win all those rounds. But he ended up getting a decision, and I was mad because same thing after that fight. I didn't come out with much damage on my face. My hands were fine. He came out with 2 broken hands, and I was like, and he broke them. I think it was in the second round. And so I'm like, how the hell do I lose a fight against a guy that had 2 broken hands? And like I said, I felt the third, fourth, fifth is when I turned it up because he wasn't punching the same after he broke both his hands. His hits weren't hard enough like that. But I had him in the 5th round. He was wobbling. He was using everything he could to, tie me up, slow me down, all that stuff to stop me from knocking him out. But he was he was shaking his legs, all twiddly and stuff like that. So I was like, man, come on, let me land a hit, get away from me. So, but as I said, fights are exciting, they're fun to watch, and it's fun being in there when you win. When you lose or you get a decision, a draw, it ain't as fun.
Yeah, I agree. Would you like to add something to this interview? Maybe something we missed? Maybe you would like to greet someone or?
You know what? I mean, I just want to thank, for first of all, my family, because they support me 100%. My wife, she does everything for me. She manages me, she cooks for me, she's my coach, my nutritionist. I mean, she makes sure I'm on point for when I go fight, everything's where it needs to be. My kids, for putting up with me, having to train all the time, be away from the house, not do the stuff I want to do with them as a family because, I'm gone training or at a fight. And then from there also, my sponsors, All or Nothing Clothing, they always hook me up with gear for fighting, for training, my shorts to walk out in. Adventure Cycles, because they work on my motorcycle. It gets me to train when I go train, cross train, stuff like that. Or when I have to go to work, I got my bike, it's always ready and on point. So I think them too, and the fans, definitely the fans, and you for having me out here, being heard. That's a big thing for me, is being able to come out here and answer questions, talk about myself, and let people know who I am and what I'm doing and stuff like that. So thank you.
No problem, thank you too. I will probably post it, well, it will probably be night your time, but you can check it in the morning. It will probably be up. Now I will start creating video, and when it's done, I will post it. I hope early morning your time tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that.
Alright, thank you so much. Catch you all next time. Have a great day, and thank you for accepting this interview, Tony.
Thank you. Bye-bye.